Hello, welcome back to the channel. If you're new here, I'm Ashley and I make travel and lifestyle content. Today we're in Fort Bragg and we will be spending the next few days exploring Mendocino County. It's my first time here and I'm so excited. It is so beautiful, so stay tuned and check out where we go. I heard some commotion early in the morning, and right outside of our room, they were setting up some sort of party. We headed first to coffee. I spotted this like purple A-frame right when we drove into town, so we went to go check that out. This is our third day, I believe, in Fort Bragg, the Mendocino area. So if you haven't checked out the previous vlog, I will link that for you down below. If you want to see the first 2 days of our trip, check that out. But yeah, we grabbed this coffee and it was good. Good morning from Fort Bragg. It is, I think, day 3. And we are heading to brunch. We just onto North Highway 1. Sorry. We just got coffee at the A-frame coffee shop drive-through thing, which was very cute, but you know, it's Sunday morning, so coffee is in high demand. I got the almond roca one. This town, their drinks all start with 1 shot. I think that's probably why I was so like tired yesterday come 1 p.m. Anyway, come on with us. Should be a fun day. So we're in Mendocino for brunch this morning. We are planning on coming back tomorrow to look around some more, but it is so cute. And when we drove into town, like a little ray of sunshine, like legit, like was hitting the town. It was just so cute because it's foggy today, as you could probably tell. Oh my gosh. It's adorable. I see why people like it. We met up my brother-in-law and my sister-in-law for a brunch before they left to go back home. We went to this cute cafe called Fog Eater. How is it? Also, do you care if you're in my YouTube video? I have 600 subscribers. 5 people might see you. We started with some beignets, which was a great move, and then my brother-in-law got a mocktail. I got this po' boy, and Dustin got a biscuit because he wasn't very hungry. And my brother-in-law got some waffles and fried cauliflower. This is a vegetarian restaurant. Then we went and looked around at some shops. This was relatively early for us, though. I want to say we had breakfast at like 10 a.m. brunch, I guess, and then we headed over to this bakery that we saw while we were walking. I just thought it was so cute that it was called Garden Bakery, and you walk through this cute little garden to go in there. I'll show you what I got from there later on because I was too full to eat it at that point, but this area was so cute. I really liked all the buildings, especially ones that look like this one. Oh my gosh, it's so pretty. It looks kind of like a movie or like a dollhouse. I just absolutely love the architecture there, and just walking around, it was all so pretty. If you watched the last episode, you know that my kids are not with us. This was an adult-only wedding, so it was just us grown-ups. So we went shopping for the kids. We went into the bookstore here, which I had heard about from the local bookstore where I live. So they recommended we check out this awesome bookstore, which was so beautiful. They had a great selection. They even have a local author, Julie Soto, who I've actually met before. She's lovely. And then we also went and checked out some toy stores and gift shops. And here's that cookie that I got from the bakery earlier. We drove back through Fort Bragg, and we went to the way far side of Fort Bragg. And as you can tell, it is so foggy. It really is a coastal vibe here, and we decided that we wanted to go wine tasting because I have seen this place on the internet before, and it was so pretty. This was actually our first wine tasting of this trip, if you hadn't noticed, and this did not disappoint. It was such a gorgeous location. We lucked out and there was plenty of seating available outdoors. I decided to just get a glass of wine because I prefer white wines even when it is a little bit cooler outside. And then Dustin decided to get the tasting and we took it outside. Hello, we are at Pacific Star Winery and we're sitting outside like on the cliffs. It's gorgeous. I guess it's like the only coastal winery in the Northern California area, and it is stunning. Let me turn you around. I know you can see what I see. What notes do you have?
Wine notes.
Wine notes?
Yep.
Tastes winey. They do have a cooler or like a refrigerator section here and some snacks. So we did get some cheese and like charcuterie, and then we had some items that we brought from home as snacks that we brought out and enjoyed and watched the water for a while, and it was very pretty. But like, I know you can't see it in the video, but the sun was shining directly on me, and we opted to go back up to their patio. I swear it wasn't on other people. What's that?
Sangiovese.
Sangiovese?
Yes.
Does it also have notes of wine?
I'm detecting, yes, notes of wine.
I made a new friend. You want to see? I never did find out this dog's name. He is one of the winery workers' dogs, and he was so cute. He hung out with me until more people came along with different food, which is okay. Dustin did decide that this was better to do the tasting because you have to actually walk up to get your tastings. They don't do it down by the water, so it is quite inconvenient if you are doing your tasting and you want to sit out there. So keep that in mind. Maybe do your tasting and then walk down once you have a glass of wine. After the wine tasting, we went to a late lunch. I think I was actually looking for an animal in this clip, but I don't think we see it. So we went to this place called Princess Seafood, which was recommended to us, and the location is really nice. Unfortunately, the business did experience a fire prior to us coming, so they were limited in their space. I don't know if that also limited the capacity for their food, but my oysters were warm, and they were served on a plate with salt underneath as opposed to ice. The location was really pretty though. We did see boats come into this area. One came super close and they were talking to some of the people that were sitting and eating. I think it was someone's birthday, so they came to say happy birthday, which that was cool to see. Dustin did like his clam chowder in a bread bowl, and I also got ceviche tostadas, and those were all right. Yeah, it was fine. Another thing I've heard that you need to do when you come to this area is try the ice cream that's made with mushrooms. So we went and tried the sample of that, and then we got other ice cream. I actually got sorbet because I shouldn't have that much dairy, and I decided to be responsible. After the ice cream, we went back to the room for a rest for a while, and I think we watched some TV, and then we went to dinner later on that evening at this Italian spot that one of my friends recommended. She said when she was in this area, they actually came here twice, and she's normally not the type of person who like goes to a restaurant twice because she wants to experience like, you know, everything they have in the area. So I definitely had to try it because that's such a glowing recommendation. We ordered the garlic bread on the side. Oh my gosh, there was so much bread. Plus the entrees came with bread. It was entirely too much bread, and it was huge too. I got seafood pasta because before we left the coast, I felt like I should probably have more seafood, and it was lovely. And as you can see, my ability to be responsible and not have dairy did not last the entire day. Okay, I'm checking in from our hotel where the lighting is atrocious. So the hotel itself, or the motel itself, is fine. And we did pay extra for this jacuzzi tub, which I used last night, and it was very nice, especially considering, I don't think I told you this, but I just took a spill. Fell. And so I was achy, so that was really nice, but last night, someone set off fireworks right by our room. Not my favorite. And then today, they started like super early in the morning before we left at like 8 something, setting up for a party. And then there was a party on their patio thing for hours, like until 5 or 6. So we came back and tried to have a nap since, you know, the firework incident last night. And there's just people outside having a party. I don't know, not my favorite, but what can you do? Life happens. But yeah, so we are in our room for the rest of the evening. We're going to use the jacuzzi again because I paid extra for it, so I got to use it. And then we check out tomorrow, but we are still going to do a couple things before we check out, or before we head home. So I will check in then.
The next morning.
Good morning. We're still in the hotel for Bragg. We are leaving. The motel itself is okay. The other guests are a lot this time, but that's okay. What can you do? Yeah, we're about to check out, and then we're going to go explore a bit more before we head home. So I'll check in later. Imagine my surprise when we walk out the door on Monday morning. We're leaving. It's our last day, and it's finally sunny. I never got to see the water from the hotel until this morning because it was so foggy and you couldn't see it. So here I am showing it to you. We didn't even leave time to explore this beach area, but I believe it's just connected to the same beach we went to in the last video, so that's okay. But here's the outdoors of our room. Our room was over there to the left. There is the picnic area. That's where the people were having the party the day before. And then we drove into town and we had breakfast, coffee in Fort Bragg. I totally forgot. I need to give you a tip if you're going to Fort Bragg. A lot of these places do not accept card. You need to have cash. So if you're coming and you're planning on eating in the town, you should definitely have some cash on you. The coffee place was cash only. Luckily I had some because I had paid for brunch the day before and my brother-in-law just handed me cash, so that's literally the only reason I could even buy breakfast. That would have been so embarrassing to have to leave. This was a great spot. Dustin got a pastry and I got a breakfast sandwich, and it was just lovely. After breakfast, we did walk around Fort Bragg a little bit and check out a few of their shops before heading over to the Botanical Garden. One of my friends told me that if I was visiting Fort Bragg, I absolutely had to go to the Mendocino Coast Botanical Gardens, and I am so glad I did. This garden is exquisite. It's 47 acres, and from the entrance area, it's a 1/2 mile walk, which is relatively flat, to get to the ocean. So you get to see all of these plants, and then if you keep walking, you eventually run into the ocean. They also have 4 miles worth of trails inside, and let me tell you, we wandered all over this garden. They did tell us when we walked in that some of the highlights of the garden when we went, which was September, was the vegetable garden, and then the dahlias were still in bloom, or rather that the dahlias were in fact in full bloom, and that was lucky for me because dahlias are my favorite flower. We're gonna go walk to the ocean from the Botanical Garden. I'm super excited. There's so much to see, and I think if I let myself, I would be here until they closed. There's stuff over there. That's the stuff that's over there. We made it to this deer gate. They have deer in the area, so they have to protect their plants, and it was so pretty. I'm gonna go ahead and put in a montage now so you can see and hear some of the sounds too. This is my favorite. These are my favorite flowers. I'm gonna fall. Wow, you look like you're on a green screen. This is crazy. Remember how I told you guys I fell? Let me show you where. It was over there. Right here. I fell down and it was sad because I wanted to see this view. So we walked out to the ocean. They also have a cliff house here if you want to sit a while and enjoy the scenery. And then we headed back. I'm going to show you some ocean right now. On our way back, we did see a snake. It went across the trail. I don't think you can see it in this video clip because it was going. We also saw this mushroom sculpture out there, and then we headed out. Our next stop was the Point Cabrillo California State Park, which has a lighthouse. I don't think I've ever seen a lighthouse before, or at least that's my story, and I was sticking with it. I will say that if you're headed here, it is a half-mile downhill walk from the parking lot to get to the lighthouse. And if you have a handicap placard, then you can park in a lower lot. But if you have mobility issues, someone else can drop you off closer to the lighthouse, and then they can drive back to the parking lot. We did the paved road, and it was relatively flat, not too hard. It was a beautiful area, and then the lighthouse was super small, as you saw. And then we went inside the gift shop and talked to the gentleman there for a while. He was very informative, and there's a lot of exhibits inside you can look at, including in the gift shop. This lighthouse was damaged in a storm in 2023, so they had been raising money to restore it. We did make a donation because all of it goes towards the state park. So we then went and walked through the rest of the buildings in the state park. They have this very large saltwater aquarium. It's all like self-guided in here, and they have just a bunch of buildings, I want to say like 4 or so, that you can look at. They also have some properties you can stay at over here too, so do not accidentally wander into one of those because someone could be staying in there. We also wanted to use the restroom before we headed out, so we did that, and then we went into this museum, and this is really old, and either there was someone in here with us who did not ever announce themselves, or this place was very haunted because I heard walking and plumbing noises. I'm assuming that someone was probably just like upstairs using a bathroom or something, but I did not ever see them, so that was fun. But yeah, it was pretty interesting to see, but I don't know, there's probably like grander lighthouses elsewhere, so if you're not interested in seeing the museum part and you're really just only here for the lighthouse, I would say that maybe you should go ahead and skip this one. It was a lovely stop for us though. For lunch we headed back into Mendocino, and we went to this place called Patterson's Pub, I think, and it is actually an Irish bar, an Irish restaurant, and we sat in the back where there were lots and lots of gnomes staring at us, but this is my fault because I picked this table. So I had a soda, and Dustin tried some of the beers. We started with some fried pickles, which were delicious. We are currently in a pickle era. Have I already talked about this? I feel like I have brought this up on the channel before, but we are just like really into pickles right now. Speaking of which, we accidentally left a bottle of pickles in the fridge at the motel, so if you happen to be in the same room as us and you find that jar of pickles, enjoy. I got a fish and chips, and this was a style I've never seen before. It was like, I forgot what the fish was called, but it was super huge, very filling. It was different than what I'm normally used to, but it was great to try. After lunch, we saw this sign for this produce stand, and it was one of those standalone stands where it's like on the honor system, and I was just talking to someone about this before we got there, so I absolutely had to go check that out. And then we also went to a couple shops before we decided to head back home. We also picked up a couple things at the produce stand. They were actually refilling it while we were there, so there was someone there to make sure that we paid, but they they're not always there, so I can actually check that off my bucket list, right? After a long, busy day, we are heading home. We're an hour into our drive. We're in the Anderson Valley. We're stopped for gas in Navarro. It was such a great trip, and I think today might have been one of my favorites. But yeah, so if you want to see where we are more in real time, follow me on social media, and please like and subscribe for more travel and lifestyle content. See you next time. Bye.